Okay, now let's talk about the C, because we've already talked about the S and the T in our SOHCAHTOA word. The C again, of course, is called the cosine. All right? And on your calculator, you'll see the word COS, or in your book even, for shorthand for this word. And we can say cos or something like that if you want. Okay? Once again, I'm going to start with angle R. So I'm going to say that the cosine of angle R is a ratio. Well, let's look at our word. The A, well, we already know what the A stands for because we learned it back in tangent, which is adjacent. So that'd be adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is H. Okay? So to find the cosine of any angle, you just take the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. Well, if angle R is right here, then what's going to be my adjacent side? Yep, this is the opposite. This is the hypotenuse, so this has to be the adjacent. So we start off our ratio with the cosine of angle R being A over the hypotenuse, in this case, which is C. So your ratio for angle R, for the cosine of angle R, is A over C. Can you write the other two ratios for using cosine? Should be able to. Let's talk about angle T again. So angle T, cosine, would be, again, the adjacent of the hypotenuse. So the adjacent T, adjacent to angle T, would be B over the hypotenuse, which of course is C. So the cosine of angle T is B over C. All right? Now what about the cosine of the right angle, cosine of angle S? Okay, let's see if we get something a little interesting in this problem too. Well, what's the adjacent? We don't know what the adjacent is. It doesn't have either one, all right? So since we cannot pick out the adjacent, we have to call it 0, okay? Because there's no, both these sides are adjacent to it, but we don't know which one it is that we're talking about, okay? And then of course the hypotenuse is C. But what is 0 over any number? It's 0. So the cosine of angle S is 0. Okay? So, another thing to remember, and I ran out of room down here, so I'll just write it here. So, just remember that the cosine of a right angle is 0. Always 0. Okay? So, let's remember again about the right angles. We already said the cosine of a right angle is 0. The sine of a right angle is what? Is 1. You just wrote about that. And then the tangent of a right angle is right. It's undefined. Because basically you would have a 0 in your denominator in your ratio. So you can't, remember, you can't divide a number by 0. So the tangent of a right angle is undefined. Okay? So you might want to keep this stuff in mind. But now we're going to go and do some example problems using sine and cosine to help us find some missing links.